Hey there, my name is Jay and I wanted to make some art videos. I think about for a while if I wanted to do like tutorials or just quick art tips and all that. And I thought, well, what can I bring to a table as an intermediate artist, a struggling artist like many, when there are so many great content creators on YouTube, professionals and teachers who are like really good at what they do and far better than me. So I thought, well, I can give you my perspective from as an intermediate artist that I've been studying for a couple of years now, and I think I grew up quite a lot recently, so I can give you my perspective and what the steps that I took to get to the level that I am right now, and maybe relate to you in this journey that is quite long. So there's still a long way to go for everyone. So one of the very first, or one of the most asked questions online that I see on forums, like on Discord channels and Reddit subreddits of art, are how do I start drawing? I want to create the things that I have in my mind. I don't know how to put it on paper or on digital, it doesn't matter. So in this video I'm going to talk about like some of the steps that I think are you should take as a beginner. I'm not going to give like any anatomy advice or perspective. Well, that is like not the scope of this video. So what you see here is like some pencil drawings that I made around 2018, something like that. So as you see, I drew this. I had some general idea of the anatomy and all that. So I drew what I thought it was a man. So that's one of the very first things to understand, that when you start drawing, all the things that you do are the things that are in your mind about how you think or how you perceive things around you, and not exactly what they really are. So here I drew what I thought was a man, the physique, the anatomy of a man, of an adult male. So as you see, there are like some good choices, like some muscles here that are like the thigh muscles, but they're not exactly what they are really. So when you want, at first, when you're a beginner and you don't know how to start to draw and all that, the very first thing is to observe, learn, understand what you're seeing and analyze. So you want to draw how things are and your interpretation of that, but not what you think they are, if it makes sense. So forget about what you have in your head. Suppose you want to draw a dog. We all know how dogs look like, but if you draw a dog right now, it's going to probably don't look like a real dog, because it's the image of a dog in your head, which is not how a dog really is. So that's the very first step you have to take. So observe, analyze, understand what you're seeing, and learn from all the the resources that are available. You can watch from photos, from real life, from anything. So the second thing then I want to talk about is like related to this, is the resources that you can use in your journey, in your learning process. So because there are far too many things right now in this current state of the world, this technology filled world that we live in, there are a lot of art channels, art courses, TikTok videos, Instagram posts, Discord channels, far too many things that are of course overwhelming to anyone who is starting. So what I recommend and what I did was understand what the fundamentals of art are and start by the basics. Because if you start drawing this thing here, this is a very complex scene, right? So there is like some geometry here that has like some perspective and understanding of form, and also there's human figure. The human figure has a lot of anatomy and form, and there are far too many fundamentals at play here that you as a beginner don't really have the understanding yet. So what I recommend doing is learn about the fundamentals first. So once you focus on what you want to draw. Let's say you want to draw fantasy or you want to draw anime. So what are the fundamentals you need to learn to draw what you want? So concept art, you want to draw characters, right? So you need to understand anatomy, you need to understand form, shapes, clothing, maybe materials, and all the things that are relevant to what you want to draw. So that's a starting point for you to narrow things down and start learning the very basic things about the subject that you want to draw. But you want to start by the most basic fundamental things first before moving on to the human body in movement and very complex shapes that are maybe in clothing design, weapon design, or the very those weird perspective shots of anime or comic book characters. Those are very complex subjects that are really not at your level yet. So I don't want to get you discouraged, because this is what I used to do, right? So I try to draw a woman here. I have no idea how to draw. Even I was copying a reference photo, but I have no idea how to analyze a reference photo. So this is my level right now. This is on pencil. This is on some study here. I'm trying to experiment with color, right? So there are a lot of fundamentals here that I had to learn first before doing any of this. So what you want is gathering all the the resources you need to start learning about the subjects that you want to learn about. In this case, let's say I like drawing people. I like drawing portraits, also like some fantasy. So what I did was analyze a lot of photos, references, a lot of construction of the human figure, of the human head, how the different planes of the face work. There are a lot of resources out there that are narrowed down and focused on the subject that you want to learn. I didn't learn about clothing. I didn't learn about materials. I can barely draw metal and fur and stone and but once you have the fundamentals, forms and shapes and perspective and anatomy and light, once you start understanding those things first, then learning other things are much easier. So let's say you want to draw machines, cars, mech type of stuff, right? So you want to learn the most basic things first, and then take some reference photo of how mechs are drawn in, let's say, anime or whatever, and how machines are in real life. You want to look at that, understand, learn, analyze. Many people say that you shouldn't trace or you shouldn't copy, and I'm really against that. I think that tracing with a clear objective and understanding of what you are tracing is really, really useful. I did some tracing. I took photos like this, like the photo of a woman, and I trace it on top of the photo and really try to understand what is that I'm seeing. So to sum it up, the very first steps you want to take when you want to start drawing is to first focus on the most basic things and observe. Leave the other, very complex stuff for later. right now you want to, just draw a piece of paper. Doesn't matter if this digital or traditional, it's all the same. But just pick any subject about the fundamentals and start practicing that. So there's like a rule that is 70-30. So 70% of your time should be studying, and the other 30% should be, free for whatever you want to do. So at first you should follow this rule. Most of the time you want to practice and learn and understand and observe. Even watching speed paint videos on YouTube counts as studying, so you can do that, but don't put it on the background and watch it mindlessly. You want to understand what the person is doing. So as you progress and you get better, you can just maybe start drawing more things for yourself, and this becomes like 50% of your time, and the other 50 is for you. And then as you get better and better, you spend less time studying, but you want to narrow down the subjects you want to learn first and focus on that. So pick any subject, let's say forms or perspective or lighting, and study that. There's a thing called iterative drawing. So what it means is you want to draw iterations of the same thing. That means repetitions. So let's say you want to draw like cubes in different angles. So repetition after repetition, you want to draw cubes from 1 point perspective, 2 point perspective, 3 point perspective, add lighting, add line weight, line values, shading, anything. That should be your focus at first. Probably you're going to feel like maybe you draw like a cube like this and you say, oh, that looks nothing like a cube. Don't get discouraged. It happens to all of us. As you see, I went from here to here, so it's possible. It's not that you don't have talent, it's only that you don't have any practice. You haven't spent enough time yet observing and analyzing. So eventually you will start building confidence in your lines, in your strokes. You will start knowing what it is that you're drawing instead of thinking that you know. So that's it. That's like the approach you should take when you start drawing. Try to narrow down your interests. So let's say you want to draw characters. Well, don't paint landscapes, don't paint mechs, don't paint animals if you want to draw characters and weapons, right? So understand anatomy, clothing, shapes, forms, materials. Then if you want to expand your universe, you can learn about how to paint nature, how to draw animal anatomy, which is really complex. But at first, don't get overwhelmed. That is my most my biggest advice. Don't get overwhelmed, and narrow the things down and start taking small steps. You will get there eventually if you know what you're doing. If you are just doing things mindlessly, you will have to spend a lot more hours for a thing that you can do more efficiently. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't have fun doing things. If you feel like you don't want to draw a certain subject, you are bored, it's okay. Take a break, do anything else, draw what you want to draw, but never lose track of how to observe and the fundamentals you have to learn first before moving on to complex stuff. I saw people online saying that, oh, I want to draw like a splash art for a game like League of Legends. Splash arts are one of the most complex paintings you can ever make, so limit your scope, start slowly first, and you will get there eventually. So that's it. That's my very first video, very first take on how to approach drawing and painting. it's a very long journey, so have patience. But there's not really much science behind it, other than learning and observing and studying, and a lot of hours sitting in the chair, be in front of a blank piece of paper. So good luck. I hope I can keep making videos that are useful from my perspective. And thank you for watching.